Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation and the world. This is Texas Biker Radio coming to you live from downtown Arlington, Texas. This is episode 491. My name is Mel Popeye Moss.
OG.
His name is Mel too, by the way.
The other Mel.
Yeah. Hey, good evening, everybody on the chat line. We are simulcasting tonight. We're on Rumble, and yes, we're on YouTube also. And we are also on our website, texasbikerradio.org, on the front page. So if you ever need to know where we're at one of those three. One of those three. Oh, also our Facebook sites. Yeah.
True.
We're all over the place, everybody. We're all over the place. Man, OG, we got some stuff to cover here. But let's start out with a notice that was put out the other day, motorcycle profiling. And yes, the COCI and the Motorcycle Profiling Project would like you to take their new survey, this year's survey. And I think they liked about 700 people of having 10,000 a couple of days ago. So we want to make sure that everybody takes that survey. I took it myself. It's not that big a deal.
I took it. And what's important is if you've taken it in the past, like last year, take it again this year.
Yeah, take it every year. It's important. We need that data. And it's not anything to be afraid of, that's for sure. You're not giving them that kind of information.
Yeah. Actually, I was kind of surprised at how simple it is.
Yeah, it was really, really simple.
They don't ask for any personal information whatsoever.
Yeah, and you can go on and take that MailChimp survey, whatever that thing is. Yeah. It's a little bit longer and more in depth, but you can stop right there at the motorcycle profiling survey. And your ride, record, and report is still in effect. If you get pulled over by the law, you're being mistreated, and you feel you did nothing wrong, make sure you record it. That's the only way you have of protecting yourself from a law officer like Officer Tice down around the Marlin area. Yeah. And then you end up in court tangled up with a judge like Judge Young in Milam County. So you don't want to go there.
Well, I was going to say, even above and beyond motorcycle profiling, they do compile some damned interesting statistics.
Yes, they do.
Off that profile.
Yeah.
One we've used a lot, and it's one that you can use with your politicians when you introduce yourself as one of their constituents. And there's a real interesting statistic they came up with, and that is that 84% of bikers vote.
Yes.
Which is way higher than cagers.
It's way higher than the general public.
Yes, way higher than the general public.
Yeah.
And when you start finding out, for instance, in Texas, we're able to say we've got over 400,000 registered motorcycles here. Right. Which represents over 400,000 voters. Potential voters.
That's a hell of a voting block when you consider wives and everything else.
To be fair, we say 84% of over 400,000.
Yeah.
But the sphere of influence around that 84% is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And when you're talking to a politician, you've got to start talking some numbers to get their attention, because they've heard everything else. But when you start talking about the voting bloc that you represent, you start to get their attention, and then they might want to listen to what you have to say.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, OG, I did want to mention one thing about, what happens to us and what's been happening to bikers in our community for a very, very long time, decades as a matter of fact, is once you get tangled up with law enforcement and then they vilify you and then they do all the things they do to you, but then there is a lack of due process. That can happen. We saw it in Waco. We've seen it again and again where they violate our constitutional rights. And I wanted to bring it along to what's happening to the American political prisoners in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, the supposed insurrectionists.
Yes, because let me tell you, there is no due process being afforded to them right now. They have been in jail now for months, without due process. I think they got charges against, some of them like criminal trespassing or some junk like that. It's nothing that should warrant no bail. It's nothing that should warrant months and months and months in jail. So they are political prisoners.
And you can bet their lives have probably been destroyed.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
I think some of this they're able to get by with because they're probably bringing in the old terrorist thing.
Yeah.
Domestic terrorism. And once you're classed as a domestic terrorist, you no longer have any constitutional rights.
Right. I don't know that they've done that yet. I haven't heard that. But let me say this, that what is going on with them is a travesty. But we have been seeing it in our community for many decades.
And now you're seeing it in blatant operation with the Brandon administration.
Exactly. Exactly. And speaking of the Brandon administration, everybody, OG and I tonight are going to give you our State of the Nation. And are you ready for this? Guys in the chat line, the state of the nation is pitiful. Pitiful.
Obscene.
It is. It is.
Do you know they were talking all day on the radio and on TV tonight that the inflation rate is the highest it's been in over 3 decades in this country?
30 years.
It has reached an all-time high.
Yeah.
And I'm sure y'all are feeling it, even when you juice up your bike.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, hell, it costs as much to fuel up the bike as it used to for my car.
Yes. Matter of fact, it just about equals what I do in my smallest car.
Given we have to put premium in.
Yes, and that's the other deal. The Harleys run on premium gasoline.
Well, kind of makes that octane booster look a little more attractive.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but how much is the octane booster now?
$5.
$5.
Well, I haven't checked the price lately. That's our cost. It would be interesting to see with the way everything is spiraling out of control, especially with petroleum. Mm-hmm. There's no telling what the hell the prices are now.
Yeah.
For a quart of oil. We know what it is for a gallon of gas today.
Right.
God only knows what it's going to be tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the Rittenhouse trial?
Yes, I heard part of it. I heard a lot of the sound clippings, and that prosecutor is just a lame, dumb ass.
He's pissing off the judge so bad he can't see straight. And I wouldn't doubt that there would be a mistrial on this thing with prejudice, meaning he can't be tried again.
Well, you know, it was interesting when this first thing happened. The way the media put the spin on it was the kid, and I say kid because he was under 18, they were alluding to the fact that it was illegal for him to have a firearm, to be carrying one. Truth comes out. Under their law in Wisconsin, if you're under 18, you can't have a pistol or a gun. You can have a rifle.
There you go, everybody.
Okay? So the prosecutor, once again, kind of like reminds me of Texas prosecutors with our laws and the gang database, where if you have a CHL, you're supposed to be able to still carry, even if your name isn't a gang database. So the prosecutor up in the Wisconsin area, and I think that's a U.S. attorney, if I remember right. I don't know if that's a local prosecutor. I got a little confused there when I was listening to everything because they kept throwing things back and forth. But I believe it's a local prosecutor because I don't think this is a federal judge.
Right.
So, the prosecutor was trying to push the fact that the kid couldn't legally carry a firearm.
Right.
And it became readily apparent during testimony that he could.
Now, you know, that prosecutor kept trying to get evidence that they said could not be used. He kept trying to inject it
Absolutely.
into the trial.
And even commented on the fact that the defendant remained silent, which is a big no-no.
Yeah.
He has a constitutional right to not say a word.
Yes, he does.
But the prosecutor crossed that line.
He crossed that line twice, I think.
Probably one of the dumbest frickin' things I heard the prosecutor talking about was he was trying to make a big deal out of Full Metal Jacket bullets.
Yeah, I saw that.
But then he brought up Hollow Point, and he said, "Isn't it true that they explode when they're in your body?" This guy is some kind of a dumbass. Just a pure ass snowflake dumbass.
He was fishing, is what he was doing.
But how can you fish with a dumbass statement? That's like Biden saying the other night when he was being interviewed by the press that they wanted to push vaccinations to protect the vaccinated people against the unvaccinated people. Now, how frickin' stupid is that statement?
In a way, that prosecutor kind of reminds me of Abel Reyna.
Oh, yeah.
Because Abel Reyna, how to put it, he didn't sit well with the jury. In other words, people that were testifying were like Jake Carizal.
Right.
Jake Carizal was more likable than Abel Reyna was.
What's not to like about Jake?
That's true.
Really?
That's true. And then in this case, the kid's doing a good job. He's doing the best he can under the circumstances, as it being that young.
Yeah.
To me, the prosecutor comes off like a prick.
Well,
and he's challenging the judge.
And the whipped cream on the top with the cherry was when the kid kind of broke down a little bit.
Yeah. He broke down a lot, really. Yeah. Some people are going to say that's fake, but I don't think it was.
I don't either.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens with this. It's going to be interesting over the next. We'll see if the prosecutor can get all the way through it without causing a mistrial, and it may happen anyway. Means he brought up the Fifth Amendment and his right to remain silent.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a big no-no in that world, everybody. It really is. Yeah, you know, every junior prosecutor out there knows that, I would say. But let's get back to the state of the nation, OG.
We did get off course.
Yeah. My bad. So we had the Biden-Harris administration is fundamentally changing the nation at warp speed, man. At warp speed. He's going to get this done now, not later, now. And number one, and how he's going to do this, number one, he's going to destroy the economy via inflation.
He's doing a good job there so far.
That's right. Number two, guess what? He's going to open the borders and let 10 million people in, new voters. That's their plan. That's their plan.
And he's talking about shutting down the pipeline coming out of Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
The second pipeline to be shut down.
Yeah. Well, that would be number three. Destroy energy production and fossil fuels.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to change everything, everybody. Elon Musk is coming to rescue you with sell you electricity.
Well, what about that dumbass energy czar?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Next time I come on, I'll bring a picture of her. She's about the dumbest
No. This is John Kerry.
Oh, John Kerry. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
This dumbass makes the statement that we are going to be coal-free by 2030.
Yeah.
That's in less than 9 years.
I wonder what the folks in West Virginia think about that.
Oh, yeah, they're blatantly.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, they're going to shut down coal.
Yeah. There goes those jobs, everybody. Along with the drilling sector, the energy sector.
Yeah.
Let's just destroy those high-paying jobs.
I can't remember what that dumbass bimbo was in charge of that started laughing about the price of gasoline. So
I think, is she the one that still needs to be confirmed?
I think so.
An Asian lady worked in the Bush administration?
I only heard her laugh.
She's a nutball.
I haven't seen her. Yeah.
She's a nutball. You know, I think she's from the Ukraine. She's a communist.
Well, fits right in with the existing regime.
Yeah. Yeah. And number four, everybody, regulations, forced mandates, and shutdowns. That's sure going to do it, everybody.
And how about the $450,000 to each illegal that was separated from their kid when they crossed illegally and broke our laws?
You know, OG, I was going to run for president, and I was going to give every able-bodied working American citizen, I was going to give everybody $500,000. Everybody.
Yeah.
Because we're throwing money around, everybody. It's digital shit anyway. It don't mean anything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If they go that route.
We can produce it by the pallet load.
Yeah. Yeah. We just have it on a card.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Have it on a card. So, to continue on, everybody, they're going to indoctrinate children at all levels and all grades, kindergarten through 12 and on into the colleges, which already gone to hell. But so have our public schools, and we hadn't gotten to that yet. Oh.
Did you hear about the school district? I can't remember the name of the county they're in. let alone the state, but they were talking about that on the news tonight. They have been interrogating school children. We're talking pre-high school,
Yeah.
elementary school, asking them questions about their sex life.
Oh, wow.
How many people have you had sex with? While you were having the sex, how did you identify? Male, female, transgender, or neutral? Now, everyone's trying to desperately figure out what the hell are they asking those questions for, let alone what are they doing with the information? And how the hell can they do that without the permission of a parent?
It's insanity.
Now, I'm giving you a lead-in to Fort Worth.
Okay. We're not quite finished with
Okay.
with the deal, but hold that thought, everybody. Hold that thought. And number 6, everybody, just create shortages everywhere. Oh, yeah. We're going to have shortages. That's what they say.
Hey, I expect lines at the gas stations before too long.
Yeah. But you know what, OG? The creme de la creme, number 7. A worldwide tax, everybody, to fight climate change.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what they want, baby. That's what they want. They want to tax us all. And you know, our country, we're the big piggy bank.
Well, you know, China didn't even show up for that summit.
Nah.
He was a no-show.
Neither Gavin Newsom. Where's Gavin? And then after that, digital currency. We already talked about that here the other day.
Yeah, they don't want paper money.
Yeah. No paper money. No paper money. That way you can't run to the bank and get your money, save your money. You
Nope.
can't you can't keep it at home. No, hell no. They want to control everything.
Can't keep it in a shoebox.
When that comes along, baby, you better be fighting like a son of a bitch. You better. You better. Not only the school, everything that's going on, you better be ready to fight like these mothers are in front of these school boards. Mothers and dads. Number 9 is keep the races fighting, divide the country, and they're doing a good job of that, everybody. And they're doing it with our children. Number 10, still elections, OG. If we don't get that crap fixed, we can't let this happen again. We cannot. We cannot. I don't really give a damn if YouTube likes it or not. That's the truth of it. All these problems have been created by Biden-Harris policies over the last 10 months, and they're not finished, OG. This is what we were talking about the other night. This can get worse, way worse. And you better be prepared.
They're just warming up.
Yeah. They're just warming up. They're letting us know that they're coming after these energy companies, that our electricity bills are going to double. They're letting us know. They're not telling bold-faced lies. They're telling you the truth. This is what they're going to do. But right now, OG, they're blaming everything on price gouging by the oil companies and other big businesses.
That is bullshit.
Yeah.
Pure out and out.
Yeah.
They're going to blame the Russians and OPEC.
They're doing that already too.
Yep.
They're blaming them too. They're blaming everybody but themselves and their policies. That's what they're doing, guys. And so far it looks like to me, other than, we know 22's coming around the corner. I've explained to everybody that they're going to be getting ready to run in January. It has nothing to do with frickin' November right now. It has to do here soon, because OG, Democrats are already, listen to this, guys. This is crazy as hell. Democrats are already out there saying, I'm the normal Democrat. I'm not the one doing all this crazy shit. I'm not the one doing that. I'm the normal one. What do you think? All these bastards have been voting for this stuff. In the Biden administration, everything he wants, they all stick together, and they're the normal one? There's nothing normal about them. There's only two in the Democratic Party that are, and they're the ones that are fighting. The hell with the 13 Republicans that joined them that gave Biden a pass on that damn infrastructure bill. They gave him a win. And I don't think they could have done it without those Republicans. Now they can claim, and I heard it today, all that bipartisan bill. That's what Biden was saying. Bullshit, it was anything but bipartisan. What it was it was passed by the elites in Congress. And the Senate is what it was. And I must name Lindsey Graham and the Turtle Man, Mitch McConnell.
Yep.
Who threw them a lifeline. And they do it every time. You know, if you have a recall in your state, recall the bastards, and that means your school boards too, because what I'm fixing to tell you, what's going on there. So listen here, if they're going to, and they're talking about taxing the energy companies, just taxing the hell out of them. But let me explain to everybody, and we've told you this before, corporations don't pay taxes. They're going to take that cost and they're going to add it into the products, and guess what? They're going to be taxing us.
If you look at your next power bill.
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of a contract you may be under.
Right.
For a fixed rate.
Mm-hmm.
There is a variable in there called taxes.
Yeah.
And there's the line item, it lists them by line item, state tax,
yeah,
federal tax.
Yeah.
And if the feds up the tax, guess what's going to be bigger in your bill? They're going to pass that tax straight through to you.
Yes, they are, everybody.
It's not going to bother them one bit.
No. And, you know, the CEOs of these energy companies, I remember the one from Shell, he said, you know, we've been through all this before, with all these taxes, with all this doom and gloom on climate change and everything else. We're running out of oil. Now, nobody's claiming that.
Yeah, they finally got rid of that stupidity.
Yeah. But climate change, you know, everybody, you know, one volcano, one spews more fluorocarbons than man has ever created in history in one day. CO2 is not a bad thing. Matter of fact is, we exhale CO2.
Plants love it.
That's right. Plants and trees and everybody, they all love us. And guess what? They love our automobiles too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somehow they think they're going to transform everything right now and get it done really quick. And, you know, without you noticing it. That's bullshit. Because not everybody can run down and buy a Tesla or the new GMC patty cake truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's around, I don't know, 70, 80 grand. Somewhere around there. Yeah. So what are they going to do? They're going to go buy a new car? Oh, wait a minute. But then they'd probably have to stop giving away money to immigrants. Illegal immigrants. Aliens, really.
Aliens.
Yeah. Let's move on to school boards, OG. We're there, man. We're there, everybody. And you know, Alice Linehan is coming back after Thanksgiving. And we'll have more knowledge then about what's going on.
Good.
School boards, they deserve our scrutiny. Even if you think your school board is just fine and dandy. It's not your school board that's indoctrinating children, huh? You know, Loudon, Virginia is the perfect example. Oh, yeah. Of, they're going after parents. They're doing all this stuff. The school board's out of control. They're lying. They're saying, hey, we're not indoctrinating. We're not using that critical race theory. And they're lying their asses off. But you know what, everybody? We've got the same thing going on right here in the Metroplex. The Fort Worth Independent School District. It is sickening what's going on there. They too were claiming, hey, we don't teach CRT, critical race theory. We don't teach it. You know what they do? They disguise it under other names, OG. That's what they do. Same thing they did with Common Core and C-Scope and all that. Yeah, the local schools here would tell us, no, we don't have that curriculum. You know what? They had one similar to it, just like it. Just rename it. Rename it. And hide it. And try and hide it from the parents. Yeah.
Invent a new name.
Yeah. And remember, over the last weeks, we've been telling you, hey, they will attack you if you question what they're doing with your children. They will come after you, just like we're seeing them do. I mean, it gets worse. It gets worse. Let's take Fort Worth, Texas ISD. They've been busy little beavers creating mind-numb liberal zealots is what they've been doing. Nothing to see here, everybody. Nothing to see here. As the Texas legislature banned CRT. They banned it. They're kind of like Joe Biden. It don't make them any difference. They just change the name and keep on trucking.
So bears the question, if the legislature banned it, it's signed into law.
Yeah.
Why the hell isn't the governor and the attorney general coming after these assholes?
You know, that's a
for
good
breaking
question.
the law.
That's a good question. Maybe I'll call their office tomorrow and ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, this is... Here we go with the Biden administration again.
Yeah. You know, if Biden didn't have to obey the laws and the rules,
nobody
and the
has
Constitution,
to.
yeah, nobody should. And, you know, Texas shouldn't either. They should tell Biden and the federal government to kiss off. We're a sovereign state. Kiss off. But, you know, changing the names of things is what they've been doing here in Texas a lot. Common Core, C-Scope, those things. They just changed the name up. But it got even worse, OG, as parents here in the Fort Worth Independent School Districts went after the mask mandates. They filed charges. And guess what? They won, everybody. They won. And did that ever piss off the school board, especially the folks on the, listen to this, OG, on the Equity Race Committee?
Uh-oh.
There's a board called the Equity Race Committee. Now, they're elected not by nobody. They're appointed by the school board to be on this committee. And it's a bunch of left-wing zealots, creeps. But so we're going to call it IRC.
ARC?
IRC. ERC,
Irk.
Equity Race Committee, ERC.
Yeah.
So one person on the ERC took matters into their own hands. Her name was Norma Lopez. So she launched verbal attacks and doxed multiple parents. And that's DOXXED, doxed. Which means she took their personal data, their phone number, their address, where they work, and she posted it on the internet.
Wow.
Social media. And after she did that, she told the social media, I guess the people that follow them, to go after them. To go after them. Oh, I'm going to play you some of her shit here in a minute. It's insanity. I don't know, maybe I'll do that now. Let me find it.
Maybe we need to find Lopez's phone number and address.
Yeah. Well, that would be only fair play, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get her information. Let's post it, and let's encourage the public to go after her.
Yeah, and let me make the audio on this thing ready. And, oh man, I hate this thing. Bear with me, guys. I gotta find this. Here it is.
Yeah, Napa's telling it right. Most schools in the country get their money from the state,
Yeah.
based on the number of students that attend each day.
Yeah.
Parents need to wise up and start pulling their kids out for a few days at a time, and if enough parents do that, you're going to hit them hard.
Let's silence our mic and listen to this piece of work.
Message saved. Saved message. Fuck you, you stupid bitch, Carrie Reimer. Fuck you with your white privilege, not caring about the well-being of others. Fuck you.
Now, what that was her phone call to one of the parents. That was her left on her messaging machine.
We need to get this gal's address.
Yeah, well, it's just incredible, the things we're seeing here. Let me see. Oh, this is a good one here. If I can get it to cooperate. Oh yeah. Okay, we're going. This is a Fort Worth superintendent. His name is Scribner, and each year they have a summit, and it's about critical race theory. It's about the ERC, the Equity Race Committee.
Okay.
And listen to this guy. He's a piece of work.
Call out and isolate. An introduction to critical race theory, a differentiated approach to building relationships, how to create an anti-racist classroom, addressing implicit bias and microaggressions, introduction to restorative practice. I'm very proud that we have the courage to have these conversations, that we have the skilled leadership with the right values to do this work, and that equity more and more, since we established the division in 2016, is becoming embedded into all of the work that we do, whether that be academics, whether that be operations, whether that be analysis of our facilities, whether that be food service, finances, all of those in Fort Worth ISD as we move forward, in some cases inch forward, but push forward so that the values of.
Okay, that was the end of that. Let me say this. That guy is pushing it everywhere. He thinks it needs to be in the classroom. He thinks it needs to be in the lunchrooms. He thinks that they need to be pushing it everywhere. Everywhere. And that's exactly what they're doing in Fort Worth, Texas. And it's not the only one around here. There are others. And the parents in those schools and around the Metroplex here are going after the school boards. And matter of fact is they just released one, I forget which city it was, on the north side of town, and they just sent their principal packing, or the superintendent packing. There was still $200,000 left on his contract. They sent him packing with his contract. They said, we need you out of here no matter the cost. And that's what happened. That's what happened. It's incredible. Oh, here, let's. Did you know there's a little white man in everybody? Yeah. Here we go. Here's another one.
Standard, being dominant American English. Internalized white supremacy. And this is something that many people of color, many black and brown people are guilty of. We internalize this belief that white is right. And that our own cultures, our own traditions are not as good somehow. That's how we that's internalized racism. Because we internally believe that white is supreme. And it requires a constant process of ridding ourselves of this colonized mentality. James Baldwin, who I'll quote again, is attributed as saying that inside all of us is a little white man deep inside. Just think about that for a moment. That a little white man is deep inside all of us, dictating what we think is right, dictating what we think is normal and what is acceptable. And so our job as educators, especially educators who work with black and brown students, is to rid ourselves of this little white man. Abandon these ideas that white is supreme. I know that probably sounds controversial. I can't see your faces, but I'm prepared for I'm prepared for your skepticism. So how do we do that? And I included this wheel here to show you how I suggest educators do it, because these are the things that have helped me to refine my practices as an educator and as a scholar. So we reject white language supremacy when we refute deficit ideology surrounding Black English and other languages spoken by Black.
Well, there may have been an echo in that one. I think I left my mic on. I don't think I got it turned off. Anyway. Hey,
I heard the dogs in the background.
Yeah. OG, let me say this. That lady and these people call themselves scholars. They call themselves educated scholars. They really do, and they believe it.
Listen,
but they're nothing more than liberal race baiters and indoctrinators of white, brown, and black kids.
If you want to see a show, go to any graduation ceremony at any college. Mm-hmm. Look at the degrees that they're handing out and try and determine how the hell are these people going to get a job with that kind of a degree? But yet they feel extremely scholarly. It's insane.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's an empire built on snowflakes.
I've been to graduations where I was sitting there and I was looking at the diplomas that they got, and I'm going, what in the world is this?
Yeah. Oh, listen, before it gets too far out of out of line here on the chat line, Napa asked a question if we were moving to Wednesday nights. And no, we're not.
No.
We had a situation occur 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Different situations to where we had to push it off on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But we will be back on Tuesday nights starting next week.
This is rare that we do this, and it's really rare that we do it 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Yeah. But, OG, now, listen to this. The other night at the school board meeting, and I wish we were there, it got really exciting. There was a black dad that was up there. He was for the CRT, critical race theory. He was all in on it. And he turned around and he started chewing out the mom that was against it, the white lady. She said, I'll be glad to have a conversation with you. He said, I'm leaving, and, you won your lawsuit with the mask. You're not going to win with this. He said, and I'll be back up here with my 2 sons, and we'll be locked and loaded.
Now that's a threat.
That is a threat. That is a threat. And the police hauled him out of the building. And why they didn't arrest him, I don't know. Maybe it's because she hadn't filed charges at that point. I don't understand it. Why they released him after making that kind of threat.
At least they hauled him out.
And the school board did nothing. The police department did nothing. Nothing. This is what we've got going on, everybody. And just maybe as bikers, we should be going to these school boards and, making sure these parents and everybody get out of there safe. And of course, the main people that were involved in that mask mandate lawsuit, they've been doxxed also. Their names and numbers put out there on social media. People have been to their houses. People have called them, have called their work. It's sickening, and it's like we said, school boards are dangerous. But that doesn't mean we stop.
We
You have
harder.
to be prepared. Go ahead.
Got to push harder.
Yeah.
We
got to push harder.
You got to push back so they understand that when they start pushing, we can push with a whole lot more power. We got to band together. We got to get super active, and we got to make them believe that we are not going to take a bunch of bullshit from a minor percentage of the population. Because that's all it is.
But there is hope here in the Metroplex, and I think around the nation. There is hope. A former Equity Race Committee member, a young Hispanic guy, is working to expose what's going on in schools in Texas and across the nation, everybody. His name is Carlos, and I'm sure I'm going to mess his last name up. Can you help me with that? Tercios?
Tercios is what I would say.
All right. CarlosTercios.org. And, of course, Carlos is CarlosTurcios.org. He's got a lot of great information about what's going on here in Fort Worth and around the Metroplex. This is happening everywhere. These school boards and the teachers, because you don't know what teacher is a left-wing lunatic. And I assume many of them are, but many of them are appalled at what is going on in the schools and what they're being told to teach. Let me show you something here, OG. They have a deal in some of the schools in Fort Worth called My Brother's Keeper. I think it was an organization that was started by Barack Obama. But you remember how when they showed pictures of Muslim schools,
Yeah.
where the kids were chanting over and over and over again
Right.
for hours? What's this?
Parade rest. 10 jump. Woo. Parade rest. 10 jump. What is 0 to 8? What is 9 to 13? What is 14 to 19? What's the longest river? What's unique about it? What are the 3 pyramids? Wow. What is MBK? When was it established?
2014.
By who?
Barack Obama.
Y'all are scaring me.
Two sides. Right there. Number 7. What is MBK?
My brother's keepers.
What is MBK?
My brother's keepers.
When was it founded?
2014.
When?
2014.
By who?
Barack Obama.
Who?
Barack Obama.
For why?
To help young men of color transition from one life stage to another.
Why Zion?
To help young men transition from one life stage to another.
Why Chemo?
To help young men of color transition from one life stage to another.
Who was it founded by?
Barack Obama.
Why do we stand in V formation?
Because we have each other's backs.
I that wasn't convincing. Why do we stand in V formation?
Because we have each other's backs.
Why do we stand in circles?
Because we're all leaders.
Is Africa a continent or a country?
Continent.
How many countries in Africa?
55.
Why?
Because the man was split into 2.
Why?
Because the man was split into 2.
Zion, what's your mama name? Renee.
That was Carlos Tercios was in the Brothers Keepers for 2 years. And he said they would chant that stuff over and over and over.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible, everybody.
Let me type his name in with the organization.
Yeah, we're fixing to type it. Hang on. Here we go. OG's typing in right now. It's carlostercios.org. There you go. We have it up there in the chat line. And we'll post it around places on our Facebook sites and others as we go along here. I mean, that's almost, I don't know, breathtaking, isn't it?
It is. It, you know, what came to mind, I spent 3 years back in the D.C. area, and that was in my corporate life. And I lived in Silver Spring, but I dealt, in the D.C. area, the Maryland area, the Virginia area. And that's the first place I ever lived in my life where actually whites were a minority.
Yeah.
We ranked the white population in that area ranked number 3. Blacks in Maryland were 70% of the population. In D.C., they were 80% of the population, followed by the Asian people, who were the next biggest percentage, followed by the whites, who were the next biggest percentage. But I used to hear a lot of rumbling about the Great Uprising.
Yeah.
And I heard that more than once back there. And that's always been in the back of my mind. That's certainly a possibility.
Yeah. OG, Fort Worth Independent School District spends $2 million a year on the equity department. The average salary in that department is $95,000 a year. So I don't know how many people there are in that department. I know the equity race committee, those people are, from what I understand, they're not paid, but I don't know how they have a voice as a school board member, or whatever it is they claim they are.
Yeah.
To be able to reach out and attack parents one after the other. But whatever it is, we're going to get at the bottom of it. I'm going to find a picture of, and I'm sure it's out there, of Norma Lopez.
Oh, we definitely need to post her address and her phone number if we can get our hands on it.
Yeah. I mean, turnabout is fair play. But also at the same time, we have to make sure the school boards around here in Texas are on the up and up, and they're not doing this mess, that they're not indoctrinating children, no matter what they call it. No matter what they call it. And OG, I don't see there's any way to trust any of these people, even teachers, without going and sitting in the damn classroom and seeing what's going on. And this is what we got to demand. Now, I did ask our consultant today if this was going on in Arlington, and I don't know that it is, but I will almost bet you some form of it is going on.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. But most of these people, they belong to different organizations. They'll belong to left-wing organizations. And Norma Lopez is no different. She has some organizations she belongs to, and we will find out which ones they are. I know of one right now, but I want to add some more, because I think we'll be able to find them pretty easy, because they're bold about what they're saying and what they're doing.
Oh, they think they're untouchable.
Yeah. And why not? The Biden administration, the Justice Department, the FBI and others have made them feel comfortable. And I wouldn't put my stock in the local police departments. I wouldn't do it, because they will switch hats quick. They will. OG, you got anything to close with?
No, not really. I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. I will say one last time, everybody, get ready for what's about to happen if they keep on keeping on and double down on the things they're doing and talking about doing. And beware of Democrats that tell you that they're not part of the deal, because they are. They marched in lockstep together for 10 months. And for them to now claim that, hey, I'm a normal Democrat, is just plain bullshit.
You want to be looking for constitutional conservatives.
Constitutional conservatives. Don't trust Republicans, and especially Republican judges. That's what I'm saying. You don't trust any of them.
That's right.
Any of them.
Oh, we should have, and I'm hoping to have, some exciting news after this weekend.
Okay.
That
Good.
we'll be able to announce next Tuesday.
Good. Good. And we have a big weekend coming up. Just saying, everybody. Just saying. Those of you that are members know what it's about. Those of you that should be members should know what it's about. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. With that, everybody, prayers to everybody that is out there that's struggling with, whether you've been in a motorcycle accident, whether you've been fighting with COVID. Prayers to you and your loved ones. We're thinking about you. And we love all our subscribers.
Each and every one of you.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.